Dolly Parton has been married to Carl Dean for over 50 years. The two met outside a laundromat in Nashville while Dolly was still new to the area. They hit it off immediately, meeting in 1964 and tying the knot by 1966. Despite their long and passionate marriage, Carl hasn't made very many public appearances alongside his wife. He claims to have watched her perform live on only a few occasions. While this might make it seem like the two aren't especially close, they've maintained a healthy marriage for over half a century. Dolly and Carl have never been ones to shy away from the truth about how they've managed to stay together, and that oftentimes includes being incredibly candid about marital transgressions. One of the things that keeps them together is trust, and that includes when one or the other has sexual feelings about another person. Dolly has only cheated on her husband once, in an event that the singer has described as an affair of the heart. The affair occurred between her and one of her band leaders, Greg Perry. According to Dolly, she fell for the man due to how incredibly knowledgeable he was. However, it wasn't a feeling that was completely reciprocated by Greg. Dolly was head over heels for him, to the point where her visiting best friend had to go back to the military just so she didn't have to continue getting nauseous looking at the lovebirds. This best friend was Judy Ogle, and she shared that she felt like a third wheel watching Dolly and Greg's romantic interactions. Dolly and Greg's affair of the heart took a turn for the worse when Dolly encouraged Greg to come help her write music for the best little whorehouse in Texas. Despite being a musical genius, the business side of the job drove Greg insane. Far before completing his work, Greg quit and abandoned both the project and Dolly. Understandably, Dolly was devastated. She was so hurt by Greg leaving, she seriously considered killing herself. Her negative feelings about Greg inspired her to write the song What a Heartache. However, writing that song didn't completely end her pain. After writing it, Dolly found herself holding a gun and simply staring at it. Imagine what it would be like to pull the trigger. Before she could, her dog walked past, and his presence reminded Dolly that there was more to life that she could still appreciate. She's claimed this dog, by the name of Popeye, was acting as a spiritual messenger to try to help deliver her from the pain of her recent affair. She's remained incredibly grateful to Popeye and has respected his spiritual message by never having another extramarital affair. Although Dolly has publicly shared the story of the affair that almost killed her, she's claimed that her husband Carl has never known anything about it. She says that even though she isn't above pursuing an extramarital relationship, she would never tell her husband about it out of fear he might leave her. Although Dolly may have some sexual feelings for other men, it's Carl who will always be the true love of her life. Hey, if you're enjoying this video so far, make sure you give it a like and subscribe to Facts Verse if you haven't already. Despite Dolly's notorious affair that nearly ended her life, she and Carl have maintained a seemingly perfect marriage for over half a century. That is despite the fact that Carl has almost never been seen alongside Dolly in public. The two have maintained a fairly secretive marriage outside the public eye, but that's just the way Carl likes it. The two have shared they are almost complete opposites, with Dolly being very extroverted and Carl introverted. They've always been incredibly comfortable with giving each other the freedom to live the life they want, and aren't afraid to spend plenty of time apart. When they met, Dolly was 18 and Carl was 21. She had recently relocated to Nashville from the much smaller town of Sevierville to pursue her career in music. Both have shared that it was love at first sight. Their first date was at a nearby McDonald's. At the insistence of Dolly's manager, she and Carl kept their wedding a secret. Their only guest was Dolly's mom. The manager felt that Dolly being married might hurt her career due to the fact that so many members of Dolly's potential audience were going to want to marry the singer themselves. Of course, Dolly was a gigantic superstar less than a decade into their marriage. However, Carl seems to have been largely unaffected by his wife's fame. He runs a local asphalt-paving company out of Nashville, and it's all the celebrity he's ever needed in his life. He's always stayed out of the limelight when it comes to his wife's stardom, having only publicly appeared alongside her at an entertainment event on one single occasion. This was in 1966 at a BMI dinner celebrating Dolly's early successes. Despite the fact that Dolly and Carl have hit some bumps in the road during their long marriage, Dolly has shared they've managed to make it work by maintaining openness and freedom. For Carl, this freedom means not having to attend his wife's public events. For Dolly, this freedom means doing whatever she wants to, whether it's singing Jolene to an audience of thousands or flirting with other men. While it might sound like Dolly and Carl don't have a whole lot in common, that's one of the things Dolly loves most about her husband. She claims they're nearly opposites and opposites attract. She never knows what her husband is going to say next, even after 50 years. The spontaneity and excitement have kept Dolly hooked. While Dolly likes to travel the world and perform, her husband likes to sit around the house and watch TV. Neither has taken an issue with the other one's desire to do what they want. They've learned to love each other more than most couples as a result of accepting and embracing each other's differences. Spending lots of time doing their own thing has certainly helped Dolly and Carl appreciate the moments they have together. It's hard to imagine Carl has never heard the story of Dolly's affair, but he has certainly heard the rumors that Dolly cheated on him with her fellow The Best Little Whorehouse in Texas star, Burt Reynolds. Rumors began following Dolly and Burt as soon as the film came out, and eventually they made their way to Carl. But he simply laughed the rumors off. Although there have been no stories of infidelity on Carl's part, Dolly has shared he has a bit of an obsession with actress Jennifer Aniston. Dolly enjoys teasing her husband about his celebrity crush, but Carl has of course never pursued his crush seriously. Dolly even recently featured on the soundtrack to Jennifer Aniston's Netflix film Dumplin', though this event likely didn't allow Carl and Jennifer to meet. Dolly has said the two share an incredibly strong and somewhat twisted sense of humor. They're always laughing when they're together, and always end up laughing it off whenever they get into a disagreement. While Dolly loves touring the world and singing, she also appreciates returning home to her husband and spending peaceful nights eating country meals at their favorite low-key restaurants around town. They also like to go camping together, and Carl has never once complained about the big fancy RV his wife bought him with her singing money. The two have never had children, but Dolly is the godmother of Miley Cyrus. Now it's time to hear from you. Comment down below to share if you're envious of the freedom Dolly and Carl allow each other in their marriage, or if you were shocked to learn that Dolly once nearly committed suicide after being emotionally devastated by an affair. And be sure to give this video a like and subscribe to FactsVerse if you haven't already. Click the bell icon to stay updated on all our latest content.